Donors. So today we're going to continue with our series of video tutorial on the audit trail. So last time we stopped at so this is where we stopped at. We were able to integrate our log audit trail function in our controller, and we were able to populate the records inside our blade. And now what we are going to do next is to integrate the audit trail upon login and upon logout. So that will be the end of this audit trail integration, and we might also look at adding an edit functionality after the created that we add an action button to handle the changes. So let's go into our code, and so this is my login logic. So yours may differ, but I choose to do mine this way. Yeah, so let's look at where we actually log the user in and redirect the person to the intended page. So here do the validation on the username and password or email. I check here the session is logged. Yeah, so this is where I redirect. So let me put a comment here: redirect user after successful login. So I'll put my log function here to capture the audit activity. So just simply call it upon the user. Anytime you use auth, you call the auth class and call the user function on it. It automatically points to the user model. Now we have our log function here, so you're going to call this accessor here. So go back to login controller, just say log, that's it. Just put in your message. So not a variable string, and say logged in. That's all. Then so let's log out and test. Okay, capture login time of user. Now let's log out. Let me close this. Let's change the color. So this is the old UI that we use, just that I added a little bit of green. Let me log out. Okay, so back to this form. Let's log in. Okay, so it's paginated. Now let's check the last record. So this is it, green zone logged in. So right after login, we were redirected to this page, and anytime you visit this page, an audit record is also captured. So that's why right after the login, we see another green zone visited this page. Now let's make it list the latest records first. So where we go is the form controller, paginate. So we put the latest here. So we get there's another log. So let's comment this so that there's no log to necessary thing. Yeah. So let's log out. So this is the login. So let's log out again. Yeah, so there we go, and this is the time it was captured. Yeah, so now let's log out. Let's implement another one. Let's call the class and the logout function. Go to our login controller. This is where my logout is. So just call auth user log. Let's put in a string logged out. So let's test. Okay, so we just logged out. Now let's log in again. Okay, so this is it. logged out and this is logged in. Yeah, so let's now add our action button. So it's on the home. It's on our home. Okay, so duplicate, have an action. Give a house, set our TD. An action button class will be a route. Sorry, class btn. Let's see, btn primary bootstrap. I haven't used font awesome, so I cannot source an icon. Let me just type edit. Okay, so href, let's use route name. So audit log edit. Now we say we pass in our id, log id. So we pass in our id here. Now if we go back and refresh it, Laravel throw an error, route not defined. So let's go back to the web.php and create our route. Where do we put it? Okay, let me just put it. Let me close this. Yeah, so middleware auth, and the route name is what name did we use here? Audit.log. So we pick audit.log. Come to our web.php. Let me just drag this one here for convenience sake. Okay, audit.log. Now if you refresh it, here, that's it. Okay, so form controller at edit. So let me change this one to edit. Put in my id here. So let's go to the form controller at edit function, form controller function edit. So instead of coming to do audit trail query find, now put in the id. How I wouldn't do this, is totally a waste of time, so I'll just do audit trail. Let's see, audit trail. Now in order for this to work, let me come to my web.php and just say form controller audit. Audit log edit trail form edit. Okay, form controller. So let's do a dd tie down audit trail. Let's refresh. Let's test. Okay, so everything is working. So what happens here is the moment you pass an id to this function, what Laravel does is it writes the code some way somehow, is able to pick the model and search with that id. So the moment you call it this way and you put your variable here, the incoming value id 1 to the integer, the primary key, to automatically do the search in the db and return the model, an instance of the model for you. No need to do call the model query find, can't do your if else. No. Yeah. But let's watch something now. Let's change this one to this. Let's look at what will happen. You see, return the model alright, but there's no record. Actually return the model, but there's no data here. You don't see the values here. Now let's correct it and refresh. Now we see attributes. Now I can see this. Okay, so that's fine. Form controller. Now let's render and edit functionally. Return. So yeah, so before we proceed, let's call our request come now. Can do if request if it's a post request, as you remember in our previous tutorial on Laravel form submission tricks, we learned how to use one function to submit a form and also get the data we need instead of writing two separate methods to handle the logic. So if then do something, return view. Let me say what video return here, home. Okay, let me just call this one just edit. Then we're not passing, you can choose to use the compact, then you pass in your variable name, passing this variable name, or you can go with this way. You can just customize your name, then you call this here, Now we need to get the logged in user of user. This way, assign it to a variable, why is this not like that? Okay, statement has an empty body. Okay, so let's go ahead and create our view. So resources, views, let's duplicate home, copy it here, can add .blade.php. So form controller, okay, we don't need login, we don't need do we need the model? We don't need the model, we don't need audit trail, we don't need app tablet. So now return the view. Let's refresh and see what happens. Undefined variable logs in the view. Okay, so this is logs, trying to get property of none of this because we are trying to loop on a record that is not an array. Okay, so edit, so we will not need the this div here. Sorry, trying to loop on a record which is not actually a collection, a Laravel collection. So trying to use it for each or cause it to fail. Okay, so so now let's customize this form to look like an audit trail, to pick the fields of the audit trail. So let's change this one to activity, message, and maybe date. So let's go back to our form. Okay, you can name so the first name, we're changing it to activity. Then okay, change this one to activity. Change this one to date. Oh, sorry, lowercase, this date. Oh, input type ID not necessary. Okay, oh yeah, we need to change input type to from text to date. Now let's refresh. So you have name, activity, and date. Now let's call our variable logs. Okay, let's just say log. So we have an old, just call it this way, log name. the same for log activity, then the log date activity. The log date fresh, so oh, it's supposed to be date. Yeah, so the input type. Why is it still allowing input ID email? Let me try something out and see. Okay. Alright, sorry. I'm using Safari, so Safari will not render the default HTML. You have time to use the picker, not necessary. No. Okay, so I come to submit the form. So as you've learned earlier, there's no need to set the form action or the form method. Not form method, but in Laravel, when you want to submit a form, either goes with a post patch or a head get to those things. So for the purpose of this tutorial, I will not be going through all the processes. Now we have the route name. We're going to submit this form. Edit is edit, and the ID is 34. Now we're going to submit this particular route. Submit a form on the same route. So that was why in our controller we did if request is method post. If the incoming method is a post request, then that block of code will execute. Okay, so now let's do something. Let's dd request all. dd request all form fields. Now there we go. Now we don't need the token. We don't need this token, so we just say request accept. Bring in your to, so it will just ignore it. Yeah, so now let's go back to our form. Now let's say 30. Submit. Now let's change it. We can change to 30. Now I want to update the model, so just call, let me say it's 11:30. Instead of dd, send it to data. Okay, so data. Now we want to call the model, so we can call our transaction, begin transaction db commit our changes. Okay, so we can say audit trail update, and we can say data. So before we update, we need to log. Okay, yes. We can say user user logs. Forgotten the name of a function. So user log. Okay, so we can say user log, user modified audit with ID. Then we can now call this ID here. So you can do so many things with this. So user log ID. So whenever, sorry, not cannot redirect here. When you put your redirect, return redirect, blah 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 here, right after initiating the transaction, after executing the block of code, and the moment it sees return redirect, it will reverse everything to roll back the changes, to not commit the changes to the database. So it's advisable to keep your redirect outside your commit. So return redirect to back, or you can return to a route, but in this case we just want to go back to check. So with a session Audit successfully updated. Okay, so now let's run a test. Let's go through. Audit successfully updated. Now we don't want to come back to this form. Okay, yep. So let's see what happens if we do 2020-05. It still works, but that's not good. So let's do something. Let's use, you will need carbon. So let's say data date. I'm not call carbon, and we pass it. Now call the same variable here, carbon pass. So now let's do the date. 05. Yeah, so we have it here. Carbon 2020 01. Let's go on. Let's save the record. Send. Oh. Yeah, so it added that 000 times because we did not set it. Now redirect to route. What's the name of the route? Home.index. Form controller redirect to route home.index. Yeah. So green zone, modify audit with ID. Yeah, so that brings us to the end of this video, this tutorial on implementing audit trails in Laravel to handle to put the trail to capture user activity. Yeah, so I'll see you in our next video, which will be implementing how to handle background services in Laravel and also how to implement Yajra data tables as a service.